Hey there, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine, which has some killer riffs. For the basics, we'll need our guitar in drop D tuning. Now what that means is that we take our 6th string, our low E, down to D sharp or E flat, and then down again until it's a D note. The guitar I've got here is the Telecaster from Fender's Standard Series, which is their most affordable range. This is the butterscotch blonde finish, which is awesome, and it sounds great as you'll hear in this lesson. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you're fairly new to guitar and you're looking to build a strong and solid foundation, but you don't know where to start, then be sure to check out the Guitar Zero to Hero Premium course and membership, which gives you all the guidance to play with confidence. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Let's jump into the lesson. Now, in terms of guitar tone, I'm using a Telecaster here. I'm using the neck pickup position, and I've got a high gain amp with the gain turned up fairly high so you get distortion. But alternatively, you could use a clean amp and have a distortion pedal to get a similar sound. Okay, so let's start with intro 1, which is really simple. We're going to start with a D5 chord shape. So it's a D chord, but we don't need our middle finger there, just our index and ring finger. And we'll strum up to the 2nd string. We're going to hit this D5 chord shape and just hold it out for a bar. We're going to play that for 4 bars. On the 5th bar, we're going to mute everything. And then for the 7th bar, we'll come back in with a volume swell. Now, what you could do is just use your ring finger and slightly hit the 13th fret of the 4th string and just keep wiggling it till it starts making a noise. Or alternatively, what you can do is drop the volume down all the way on your guitar, hit that 13th fret of the 4th string, and then slowly turn your volume up like that. And that's all there is to intro number 1. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to see it in context, go to the playthrough at the end of this lesson. Next, we get to intro number 2, and there's 2 lines of tab here. To start off this riff, we're going to hit the open 6th string 3 times. But what we're also going to do is add some staccato to those notes, which means we don't let them ring one into the next. If I were to do that, it would sound like this. And by doing so, you kind of lose that frantic feel of this riff. Now, to add the staccato, we're going to quickly drop the side of our picking hand onto the strings right after we hit the note. And that way you mute the string and add the staccato. You can further reinforce this by taking your fretting hand and actually dropping it onto the string after you've hit the note, like that. Now we're going to do that for those 3 open strings. And then we're going to hit 4 notes. 11th fret of the 4th string, 12th, and then same on the 3rd string. And together with the 3 open notes. That bar is repeated through 3 times. And for the 4th bar, the riff just differs a tiny bit after these 2 notes. We're then going to take our ring finger, put it on the 12th fret of the 3rd string, pluck that and bend up a full tone and release. Like that. So the second half of this bar. Now, I would also suggest bending with your middle finger as well. So ring and middle finger together on the string. And with those 2 fingers together, you'll have a much easier time bending that note rather than using 1 finger. So the final bar. And that's it for this first line of tab, which sounds like this. That line of tab is repeated through twice. And for the second line of tab, we start off with the same 3 open strings. And then we're going to hit an octave shape. To play this, index finger on the 6th fret of the 5th string and pinky finger on the 8th fret of the 3rd string. Now we want all the other strings muted as well. So to do that, with your index finger, you'll lightly touch the 6th string as you're fretting the 5th string. So just have that index finger high enough so it's lightly touching the 6th string. And then with all the other strings, the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, your index finger will be lightly lying across those strings, making contact with them but not pushing them down. And that way, when you put your pinky finger down, only these 2 notes will ring out. So we're going to hit this octave 3 times as well, and also add the staccato the same way that we add it to the open 6th string. And together. that bar is repeated through 3 times. And for the 4th bar, we hit 3 open strings and just the octave shape once. That's it for intro 2, which will sound like this in total. Next, we get to the heavy riff section or the rock out section, and this is a super cool riff to play. We're going to start by hitting the open 6th string, have our index finger here ready on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, hit that and hammer to the 5th. And so far. After that, we'll lift our fretting fingers and keep contact on the strings though, because then we're going to do a quick down up, and you can just sort of focus on the 6th and 5th strings here. And that's just muted rhythm there. And so far. And one more time. And notice to get that muted sound, I'm just lifting my fretting hand and making contact with the strings, but not pushing anything down. After that, we'll take our index finger up to the 3rd fret of the 4th string, pluck that and hammer onto the 4th fret. And then ring finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. And together with the mutes. And so far. And then to end this, we're going to hit the open 6th and 5th strings and index finger bars across the 2nd fret of the 6th and 5th. And we're going to hit these 2 strings and hammer onto the 3rd fret with our middle finger. And then lift your middle finger and then strum the 2nd fret position one more time. And the final bit. And the riff in total. And that riff is just repeated through 4 times for this rock out section, which will sound like this. Okay, next we get to verse number 1, which is the same riff as that rock out section, but it is palm muted instead. So we're just dropping the intensity of that riff down by palm muting it. Now to palm mute, you take the fleshy bit of your palm and rest it lightly under the edge of the bridge, and you do everything else the same, but with your palm there, the notes will sound muted. With those 2 quick mutes, the down up, you can just focus on the 6th string by itself if you want, like that. But you'll note everything there is palm muted. Towards the very end, you can start lifting your palm a little bit as we get into refrain number 1. But I'll play this palm muted riff through 4 times so you can hear how it sounds. All right, now we get to refrain number 1, which is really cool. I love this riff. Probably my favorite riff in the song. I reckon it's not used enough. So we'll start with the open 6th string, and then 3rd fret of the 5th string, hammer onto the 5th, and another 2 muted strums with a down up. So, and as we're doing that down up mute, you're gonna shift your ring finger up to the 9th fret of the 4th string and hit that. Now, if you want to really just dig into the strings and not have to worry about hitting this note just by itself, and you just want to strum it like that, then what you can do is fret that note with your ring finger. Take your index finger, rest it behind that note, and make contact with all the other strings so that everything else is muted, and when you strum, only that 4th string note will ring out. And so far. And we're going to do, for the second half of this bar, we'll do the exact same thing, except for that final note, we'll take it down to the 8th fret instead of the 9th. For the second bar, we'll do the exact same thing, but move that final note down one more fret to the 7th. And for the second half of the second bar, hit the open 6th and 5th strings, and then put our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th and 5th. We're going to hit this and hammer onto the 3rd fret. Do that again. And then lift our middle finger and hit just the 2nd fret position. And in total. In the first line of tab. The second line of tab is almost identical, except instead of this riff at the end, we're going to play a C power chord here. So index finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, ring and pinky on the 5th frets of the 4th and 3rd. And we're going to just palm mute this at 16th notes with all down strokes. And I use palm muting here as well. So use the side of your palm on the bridge and just all down strokes for 3 yenda, 4 yenda. Like that. So the second line of tab. And that's it for refrain number 1, which sounds like this. Next we get to pre-chorus 1, and there's 5 lines of tab here. For the first line of tab, we're going to start with a D octave shape. Now this is the same octave shape that we had in intro 2, but we're just going to shift it down to 5th and 7th frets. And we're going to strum it with a down up. And after that, just quickly lift your fretting hand so there's staccato. So down up, and then one more downstroke. And after that downstroke, again, lift your fretting hand so it doesn't ring out. Like that. All that staccato is really happening by lifting your fretting hand at the right moment. So lift, lift, like that. All right, we're going to play that 4 times for the first line of tab. For the second line of tab, it's almost the same, except now we're adding some muted strums. Keep your fretting hand where it is, but only making contact with the strings. We're not pushing anything down, and we're going to strum a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's all muted. So, and we repeat that again twice for the second line of tab, which sounds like this. The third line of tab is just another repetition of the second line of tab. For the fourth line of tab, it's almost the same, except we are changing things up a slight bit. Now, after the first 3 strums, we're going to do 5 muted strums here, and on the 6th strum, the up strum, we're going to fret that octave and hit that note on the up strum. So, and you can slide out of that as you move to the next bar. So, and then for the next bar, we just repeat that again. So the fourth line of tab. The fifth line of tab starts off the same, but for the final bar, we're going to change things a little bit. So we start off with the octave as we have for the entire section so far. And then 2 quick muted strums as we move our octave to 17th and 19th fret. And we're going to strum this with triplets. So break it up into groups of 3. Triplet, and then triplet, and then triplet. And then on the final up strum, hit that, and we can slide out. And it'll sound like this. Rhythmically, that's a little bit tricky, but if you just practice it slowly, you should be able to get it. That's it for the pre-chorus 1, which will sound like this. Okay, next we get to chorus number 1, which is fairly simple because there's just one bar of music repeated again and again. So just learn this one riff and we just repeat it. We're going to stay on this octave shape that we had in the pre-chorus. We're going to strum this with a down, up, and another down, up strum, but we're going to temporarily lift our fretting hand so it's muted. So down, up, down, up. With the strumming hand, it's just down, up, down, up. But for the first half, we fret the octave. For the second half, we temporarily lift our fretting hand. Now for the next part, we're going to strum a down, down, up. Now you'll notice on that second down strum, I temporarily lifted my fretting hand. So it's a mute. Down, mute, up. And together with the first half. And for the final section, we're going to hit this octave with an up strum. Then with our index finger, go to the 3rd fret of the 6th and 5th strings, hit that. And then our ring finger barring across the 5th frets of the 6th and 5th strings. And then end on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And the final section. And all together. And I'm going to play that on repeat, which will sound like this. And that's it for the chorus. Now verse 2 is almost identical to verse 1 with one little additional lick. This occurs in the 4th bar of the verse and the riff is just changed a tiny bit. So we're going to start off the same way with a palm muted open 6th string and then a hammer on from 3rd to 5th on the 5th string. A muted down up and then a hammer on from 3rd fret to 4th fret on the 4th string. So all of that's the same. But here's where it differs. We're going to go up to the 5th fret, 6th, 7th, and then 5th, 6th, 7th of the 3rd string, and then end on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. And from the hammer on, and the bar in total. That's the only difference between verse 2 and verse 1. So I'll play the first 4 bars. Then there's refrain number 2, which is the same as number 1, and pre-chorus 2, which is the same as pre-chorus number 1. We have chorus 2, which is the same as chorus 1, and then we get to the solo section. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at this solo. Now, you can't really get this solo sounding right unless you have the right gear, unfortunately. To get this tone, you will need a whammy pedal or something similar. Now, if you don't have the gear for this, you can play just the chorus riff during this solo section. Now personally, I'm using a Boss ME90, which has a pedal pitch shifting effect, and I'm using the +2 octave setting. Now what that means is that when the heel is down on my pedal, all the notes will sound as they should. But when I slowly close the pedal, it's going to take that same note up 2 octaves. Like that. And that's what you'll need to play this solo properly. A pedal that has some sort of pitch shifting functionality like that. I'm using the Boss ME90, but you could also use something like a Digitech whammy. This solo is actually pretty simple and the pedal is doing a lot of the work, making it a lot more complicated than it actually is. So we're going to start on the 13th fret here of the 2nd string. All we're going to do is pluck this at triplets. So triplet, triplet. We're going to start by closing the pedal for the first triplet. And then heel down on the next triplet. And that will sound like this. We're going to do the exact same thing on the 10th fret. So at the start of the triplet, push the pedal down. And on the second triplet, heel down. And the first 2 notes. Then we're going to go 12th fret of the 3rd string, do the exact same thing. So close the pedal for the first triplet. Heel down for the next triplet. Then 10th fret of the 3rd string. Exact same thing. And this bar in total. For the next bar, we go to 12th fret of the 4th string, continue again with triplets, closing for the first triplet, and then heel down. Then 10th fret of the 4th string. We're going to hit the 12th fret of the 3rd string and bend up a full tone, but we're also going to close the pedal at the same time. And you can add some vibrato to that as well. So the first line of tab. Now the second line of tab is almost the same, except we end on the 12th fret of the 4th string instead of bending the 12th fret of the 3rd string. So the second line of tab. Those bars are played a lot quicker than that. So at a faster speed, it will sound like this. For the third line of tab, we're going to go to the 10th fret of the 2nd string. We're going to hit this and hammer on and pull off to the 13th fret, basically 4 times. So we'll hammer on to that 13th fret 4 times. But it's going to be quick, like that. But as we hit that first note, we are going to close the pedal. So, and then you can drop your heel down after that, and we do it again. For the second bar, we do something similar on the 10th fret to the 12th fret of the 5th string, but we only hammer on effectively 3 times. And then we drop our heel and then do another 2 hammer-ons. So this line of tab. Then for the final line of tab, we just simply play single notes. We go 15th fret of the 2nd string. As we hit this, we're going to close the pedal. Do the same thing on 17th fret. Drop our heel and then end on the 13th fret of the 3rd string. That's everything for the solo. Again, you do need an octave pedal to play this and make it sound like the original recording. If you don't have that, you can just play the chorus riff during this solo section. All together. Next is the bridge, and this is all octave shapes strummed at triplets. So we're going to start with this octave shape, 5th and 7th fret here, and we're going to just strum this for a whole bar with all triplets. So triplet, 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 and a little bit faster. For the next bar, we slide up 2 frets, do the exact same thing. For the next bar, it's up 1 fret. For the next bar, it's up 2 frets. For the next bar, it's up another 2 frets. For the next bar, up another fret. For the next bar, up another 2 frets. And then for the final bar, we go up to 17th and 19th with a down, up, slide out, and do that 4 times. So. Now, I would encourage you to practice this slowly with a metronome so you get the triplets correct, and then work your way up in speed. Then we have chorus number 3, which is the same as chorus 1 and 2, and finally the outro. So for the first line of tab for this outro, we're going to take our ring and pinky fingers and put them on the 10th frets of the 4th and 3rd strings. Now what we'll also do is take our index finger and rest it behind that position, touching all the other strings so that you can rhythmically just sort of strum this. Now we're essentially just continuously strumming down, up, 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 down, line up, but we will place our ring and pinky fingers down at certain points. So for the first 2 strums, and then for the next 2 strums, we lift them, and that will sound like this. For the whole second beat, we fret this position. Then we have 2 muted strums, and then we fret for the next 4 strums. And then for the final 2 strums, muted. All of that together. And one more time. Notice how all I'm doing with my strumming hand is continuous down-up motion. We get variation in this riff by fretting down at the right moments. And I just lift it when I need to mute. That riff is played through for 4 bars of music, and then we go to our octave shape, and again we're going to play this with triplets, similar to what we did in the bridge. So just continuously like that, a little bit faster. And the final bar is similar to what we had in intro number 2. So the open 6th string 3 times, and then the octave shape on 6th and 8th 3 times. So that is the outro in total, which sounds like this. So now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song and of the vocal track on top for some context. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Now you do what they told ya. 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 told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control. Now you do what they told ya. Like you want the control.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here, or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.